I had my foot to the floor then and it felt like I was wafting around in a golf buggy. We need power and speed. Like, that's crazy. I feel fine right now. George has gone green. Now, if you watch car YouTube, you might be thinking that you need a V8 in your life and any other car just doesn't compare, doesn't match it, doesn't live up to it. But today's video, I'm going to try and make a case for why a car like this, the BMW 330e that I own, might just about tick enough boxes to still be a great contender for people who love to drive cars and actually be more practical in a lot of ways. There's so many videos out there that say perfect family car, super practical, it's this 120 grand Audi RS6 with a V12, and yes, amazing, love it, we're here for it 100%. And I know I've been guilty of it too. I am very much a lover of the bigger engines, MPG in the single figures, fuel draining machines. However, sometimes you want a bit of reliability in your life, you want a little bit less costs, but still hopefully have a really great driving experience, which I think you can kind of get with this car, especially if you are, like a lot of the population, a company car driver as well. As much as I love the SUVs, as much as I love that sweet spot of car that I always talk about, the kind of 2008 era of cars that used to be worth a lot of money, they've dropped in value quite a bit, but you're still picking up a luxurious car. So a very quick rundown as to why I've got this car. So we had this car delivered in December 2021, brand new off the lorry. We got it from a leasing company, and I did a video about this car. I think it was a year ownership review, and I mentioned how much it costs per month, and I think it shocked most of the UK population because it is quite a lot of money. And now we're more into buying cars, having them for a few months, selling them maybe, and actually owning them outright. Seeing that monthly payment come out now does seem like quite a lot of money, but also there is reasons behind why we do it. So this costs £500 a month, and we've got a 4-year contract. So when you add up 4 years times by £500 a month, you can do the math. It's quite a lot of money, but there are some things we get from this car that mean it makes a lot of sense for us. It's not our only car to begin with. We've got a little Lotus Elan. It's like a 2-seater sports car for a bit of fun. We usually have another car, so we had our Range Rover for a while, and we're currently looking for another sort of 4x4 SUV, more sort of off-road, larger, muddier, dirtier, beaten up vehicle, basically, that doesn't matter if there's a few scratches on it. And then we've got this one, which obviously when we give it back, it needs to have no scratches on it because we get a big penalty at the end. So 2 very different cars we look for, and this car is the one that rescued us many times when our Range Rover broke down. So it's quite ironic that the car we were using the most is the one that broke down the most, and this was the one that we kind of used as our rescue vehicle. So we're basically our own breakdown cover. But right now this is my daily driver, and I have to say, even though we've had it for almost 2.5 years, I'm not bored of it. When you have it into sport mode or even extra boost, it's just an animal and it takes you by surprise. It really throws you back in your seat. The speed up to, especially up to 30 miles an hour, like even up to 60, but like the initial instant power you get from this when you put your foot down, it's an instant smile, throws you back in your chair. It's amazing. You know it's not a V8 when you're driving it. It doesn't feel like that at all, but it still has that like fun aspect that I really love. Now this car, we obviously have leased it like I mentioned earlier, and it means that you have it for maybe I've got it for a longer period than I'd want it. I'm a person that changes their mind quite a lot, and I find a 4-year lease is quite long for me, but maybe it's good for me. Maybe it means that I stop trying to move on so quickly. I slow down a little bit so long as I can purchase other cars on the side. But having that reassurance that it's like under warranty and the service is covered, we've even got like the extra insurance package, the maintenance package on it, which was I think maybe like 30 or 20 pounds more per month, which means that if we have a puncture, which we've had one, which is good, we've probably paid for it in that one tyre, so I'm kind of glad we got a puncture for that reason. But having that like protection, that insurance is perfect. And guys, protection is something that is important in life. You need protection in lots of different ways, including when you're browsing on the internet, which leads me on nicely to our sponsor of today's video, which is NordVPN. George has said how it is annoying him that the steering wheel's upside down. Does anything like that annoy you guys as well? Like, I personally don't really mind it being upside down. Comment below if you're like irritated as George is. And because of that, I'm going to keep it upside down. So yeah, NordVPN is the fastest VPN on the planet. And with a single click, which I will demonstrate just now, with one quick click, quick connect, there you go, just like that, we are connected to the UK VPNs. Firstly, it keeps you protected online for things like using a Wi-Fi in a coffee shop and you're doing some online banking. It keeps all your information protected. But also for more fun reasons, like if you're traveling, you want to watch your favorite UK TV show or a sports match or something, because your device knows your location, it won't let you access the UK channels. But if you connect to a VPN, it convinces your device that you're actually back in the UK and you can continue browsing as you would at home. There is going to be a link below, and you can head to nordvpn.com/LucyOnCars and you get 4 months extra on the 2-year plan. So Nord have also got a 30-day money back guarantee, so if you sign up, you decide it's not for you, totally fine. I've personally used Nord for a number of years. There's some shows on the US Netflix that you can't get in the UK. So you literally just go on, click United States, it connects you up. My phone now believes that I'm in the US somewhere. And just like that, top 10 TV programs in the US today. And I'm sat in my car in England. Genius. You can also have one account that connects to 10 devices. So like for a family, for example, or if you've got like multiple devices yourself. And the dark web monitor is amazing. It scans the internet for you and tells you if any of your details are up for sale anywhere on the dark web, which I think, like, the fact that we've got access to that to be super safe is very clever stuff. I don't really know how it works on the back end of stuff, but as a consumer and someone who's used Nord for years, I can highly recommend it if you're looking for a VPN. So like I said, there's going to be a link below to get 4 months free in the 2-year plan by going to nordvpn.com/Lucy on cars. Click the link below, check it out for yourself. But enough talking about protection and more talking about... Fine, I'll turn the steering wheel back round. Just for you all. There you go, is that better?
That's much better.
Does that calm you down a bit? Do you feel a bit more settled now? So how we know we're in a hybrid car, I'm going to start the engine now. It's not quite the rumbling of a V8 that you learn to love, is it? But maybe it's like more high-tech, futuristic. We're kind of trying to put a positive spin on all of these things today. So yeah, I've turned the car on. Naturally, it goes straight into hybrid mode, which means it doesn't turn the engine on straight away. So the engine will kick in as I drive, as and when it feels it needs to be the most economical for both the fuel and the electric charge. If we take a little look over here quickly, right now we've got half a tank of fuel, and we've got 3/4 of a battery, I was going to say a tank, of a battery of electric, which equates to 17 miles, which means that in total, the electric and petrol combined is 109 miles. So to be honest, it's not got the biggest range at all, but having the combination, like it not being fully electric, I do quite like, because I know there's charging points all around the UK now, but I like knowing that I can just fill up at a petrol station. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned like that, I don't know. But anyway, we're pulling away. I do find that we make people jump in this car quite a lot, because when I was growing up, it was always when you cross the road, stop, look and listen. You can't hear this, so it's very much a look for me or you don't know I'm there situation. Often we'll be sort of behind someone, they won't have seen us and they'll jump out of their skin when they realise we're trying to get past them or whatever. So it's very easy to run someone over in this car. So if you are thinking of buying one, be aware of that. There's a higher risk of running people over in it. I'm going to start off in hybrid, and then when we get onto the busy road in a second, we'll go into sports mode. My favourite mode is extra boost, but it is so insanely powerful that like you just tap the accelerator and you're sort of jolting away. It can make it slightly impractical for like driving around town or something, but still a lot of fun. So yeah, hybrid definitely feels the most kind of modern, futuristic, floaty. I think it's a love-hate thing. Like, you're either going to enjoy driving like that or not. For me, I personally prefer the sports mode when you can actually hear it a little bit more. But it is only a 2-litre engine on this, like I said, a 2-litre petrol engine. But it's amazing what it can do despite that when it's in the sports mode. So let's go into sport mode now as we pull away here. We actually need sports mode for this junction. It's very hard to get out of. So there's 3 different types of sports mode. We're currently in standard, and it does throw you back in your seat. It's amazing, the power. The standard is kind of BMW's choice, what you go into straight away when you click sport. Just a quick handling test around the roundabouts. It's amazing. It really sticks to the road. I know BMWs are known for their handling, but it's amazing. It's rear wheel drive as well, so even in the wet, it doesn't, I mean, the back end doesn't really spin out too much in a good way. Like if you wanted it to, you probably could, but it sticks to the road amazingly. But if we go into now, press sport again, we've got a few different ones. Now we're in extra boost. So this is where for 10 seconds only you get the full 292 brake horsepower. And I mean, I'm already doing 50, so once we get to this next roundabout, we'll slow down a little bit, do a more of a sort of 0 to 60 speed test. But this is where it's a lot of fun. It sounds nicer. You can kind of hear it. I've complained about this engine, how it's sort of a bit quiet, it's not that exciting, but one thing, in extra boost, on a cold start, it sounds amazing. That was just a tiny tap. Like there's a van in front of me, so I can't go any faster this second, but that was just like a quarter of the accelerator, and it definitely sounds a lot nicer in extra boost. What I'm going to do now is knock over the gear stick. This is an 8-speed automatic, by the way, and when I knock it over, it kind of goes into an even sportier mode. It gives you the option as well to sort of knock it up and down the gears, but for now we're just going to let the automatic gearbox do its thing. Yeah, it's so quick. I was in my dad's 435i recently, and I actually think we're a little bit quicker in this. My dad's has got the higher brake horsepower, but this just feels quicker because you've got the electric and the engine working together. Yeah, it's just a great combination. Like, that's crazy how quick we got up to speed there. Something I will say is extra boost makes you feel a little bit queasy, a little bit sick, especially as a passenger. Like, I feel fine right now. Georgia's gone green. It's very jolty and it's not like a smooth power. It's very much like...
Sure. Translated to which language?
It's fairly jolty. It's like pretty much on and off. Like, it is like you're either not going quick or you are, and when you're in the fast, it's like it's very sudden. The throttle response is literally instant. It's like you're putting on a switch, which I guess you are because of the battery. So despite what I've just done being the way to get the absolute most power out of the car, one of my current favourite ways to drive the car, because for some reason we've got about 100 in this car. It's not just like, I don't know, other cars you just drive it or you don't drive it and that's it. Here we've got about 1,000 options. So if we just press this button, hybrid down here again, and having it knocked over to the side in the sports mode, you get the smoother drive with hybrid. It's less jolty. I already feel less sick. You also get a much quicker throttle response, but it doesn't make you feel sick. So I'm currently sat behind a tractor, which is great, and I'm trying to film an acceleration video. It's all good. It's part of living in England, I suppose. So I find that's actually a really nice sweet spot for driving the car. It drops the power down to the regular 252 brake horsepower, but you get to still enjoy a really quick car. It's a bit more sustainable, so if you've got a longer drive, I wouldn't want to be in extra boost the whole time because, I don't know, you need like sick bags in the car for that. So we've got a really nice road coming up here with a lot of bends. So we're gonna keep it in this hybrid mode with the gear stick moved over to sport and try it out on these corners because it just sticks to the road. It's amazing. God, this is a bumpier road than I remember. I'm right up and down here. Pretty good suspension as well. It's an M Sport, but I don't find the ride hard at all. It hasn't got run flat tyres, so the road noise is pretty good. Super precise steering, very responsive. It does exactly what you want it to. Maybe a little bit too light for my liking. When I was in the Audi S5 recently, that was very heavy steering and I really enjoyed that. It felt like you're getting a lot back from the car and it's kind of got its own brain a little bit. This very much feels like it's controlled by me, a little bit like a go-kart or something where it's instant and it's responsive, which is a good thing, but it very much needs to be controlled and driven. But I hope I'm explaining that properly. The S5 feels like it's kind of a, how do you describe this? I'm doing a really bad job at this. The S5 felt very planted with the steering and you'd have to work a little bit to get it to turn the corners, but this is quite floaty. And maybe a bit too easy to drive, which probably sounds ridiculous because maybe that's what someone's looking for in a car, but for me, you don't have to do any work to get it to drive nicely. Sometimes you want to have to concentrate and hold the steering wheel a bit tighter to get around the corners. With this, I could drive it with a finger if it wasn't highly illegal to do so. I think I know what I'm trying to say. With the Audi, you get a lot of feedback from the road. With this, you lack a bit of that road feel. You feel slightly disconnected because the steering is so light. I suppose a milk float comes to mind, but that makes it sound like it's horrendous to drive. It honestly is. It's an absolute dream to drive, but it's just not got that heaviness that I quite enjoy from the cars from maybe 10 years prior to this. You can make the steering a little bit heavier in the sports mode, but you can tell that it's a bit more artificial, a bit more electronic, a bit less authentic. Something about it's a bit off, it's not quite right. But anyway, the final mode to show you is the electric mode. So it already says power and speed reduced, which is like my worst nightmare. That's kind of not what I want to hear. Power and speed reduced, not ideal at all, is it? We need power and speed increased, but I mean, however, coming into a town, more residential area, with a cost of living crisis these days, I mean, it's going to be a lot cheaper to fill up this battery than it is the fuel tank. We have a power point in our garage and we plug this in pretty much every night. It costs a couple of pounds to get the full electric charge. I mean, the electric charge only maxes at about, is it 19 miles, I think? It's supposed to be 30, it never is. It's saying that it's only 15 now at the moment. But obviously, I suppose we're still using like the air conditioning, the radio, the lights in here, like other things drain the battery, not just the motor. So if, for example, you had a commute you do every day that's 5 miles away from your house, so you do 10 miles of electric driving a day, you're not going to have to fill this up with petrol. So if you're trying to save some money, you just want to be like fuel efficient, economical, whatever the word is, clean, do your bit for the planet. We tend not to do on this channel, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, let's pull away here. Yeah, it's quite slow, guys. It's quite boring. I had my foot to the floor then and it felt like I was wafting around in a golf buggy. It's not my favourite mode. I don't think I've actually driven it in electric since the day it got delivered, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to quickly take it out of that now. Go back into sports mode where we're more comfortable. But it's nice to have options. Maybe this car's got slightly too many driving options. I think some people would love that. I mean, especially company car owners as well. If they haven't got their fuel covered and they have to commute every day to work and they're doing lots of miles driving around and they've got to pay for their own stuff, it's going to save them lots of money having the electric option. There's also huge tax benefits involved having this as a company car. We personally don't pay any road tax on it. It's literally £0 a year because it's so fuel efficient. We don't have to pay the congestion charges in London. There's definitely lots of other benefits to having this car, and I feel like it kind of combines the fun of driving, probably not to the extent of like the S5's amazing, I keep referring back to it, or like a BMW M4 or something, but it kind of gives someone who enjoys driving but not spending loads of money on fuel and repairs a good option, because like I said, this is a leased car. We haven't spent a penny on it other than £500 a month since we got it 2.5 years ago. There's never any hidden costs, that's what I'm trying to get at. There's never any worry of, oh, what if we burst a tyre? What if, oh, the service light's on, or the engine lights come on? Oh, there's an electrical fault with this and that. Like, if you're going to have a car like this, a newer car on a lease, there's never any worry with this car. It's very much worry-free driving, which is always good. And I mean, people might buy these outright. I wouldn't buy a brand new car outright personally. It doesn't make much financial sense, but each to their own. But then neither does buying old Range Rovers, because they go wrong. There's a lot of right and wrongs in the car buying world, and it's obviously up to you to make that decision. But that's my argument for this car. I really love it. I don't think we'll get another one when the lease is up, purely because I don't know if we'll do another lease. I've loved the security of it, but I don't know if it's worth £500 a month to drive the same car every day for 4 years. But it's been perfect for what it's been there for. Having our son, like, driving off with him, knowing that if anything happens, we've got like breakdown all covered. It's like a super safe car as well. It ticks a lot of boxes for us now. Maybe in a year and a half when the lease is up, we're going to look to do something different. Maybe put that money, £500 a month, plus some more money, and get something bigger and better, but not brand new. But that's a decision for 2025? Yeah, 2025. Late 2025, we need to decide that. So yeah, I think we're going to end this video off here because pretty much said everything I need to say for this car. Please drop a comment below if you agree or disagree, or you have one yourselves, you're thinking of buying one, if I've helped at all, if I've made it harder for you. Like I said in the last video, I do have that effect on people. Thanks again to NordVPN for sponsoring the video. We'll see you very soon in the next Lucy on Cars, when in a couple of days from now I'm getting a very cool car delivered to my house from the manufacturer. Guys, it's happened. The first manufacturer's got in touch to lend me a car. Super excited to show you that in the next video. Next Friday, see you there.